Hello and welcome back to the Pop-Up Podcast here at When Words Collide 2025. I am your host, Lucas, and with me once again is...
Tammy Cranston.
Hello, Tammy. Welcome back. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Amazing. How have you been enjoying When Words Collide today?
I have been learning so much, and I've made a lot of connections. It's been great.
Amazing. So we're on the final day of the festival as of this recording, the Sunday, and I'd planned to talk a bit more about your other book series. The last time we had talked a bit about the memoir and the book you had co-written with your husband about biking through 50 states. This time around, we were going to talk about your children's book series, which was Rooted.
That's correct.
All right. So when it comes to Rooted, when we had been talking about it, it sounded very interesting. What had inspired you to write it?
Well, loss has been a very important part of my life's journey. I lost my father when I was 4.5, and I really wish there would have been books out there like this for me. The reason I really wanted to write this book was to get families, parents and children, teachers, even healthcare professionals talking about these difficult topics.
Yeah.
I feel like death is a taboo subject, but it's something that we all experience, even children.
And when it comes to getting that awareness out there and putting that message out for a different demographic, when it came to actually writing it, were you trying to, I guess, evoke the idea that, death is not a taboo subject and is something that should be, talked about more? What was the one thing that you wanted to make sure you emphasized so that a child reading it would understand?
Well, first of all, I wanted them to realize what death is. Because some children, if they have not lost a pet, or someone close to them, a grandparent or someone, they don't really even understand what death is. So I just wanted to use something simple, a living tree that is struck by lightning. The seedling is mentored by Grandpa Okie, who is struck by lightning, and he actually visually sees the tree fall to the ground. And then we see the emotions of the seedling who's left behind with tears in his eyes. So just for them to realize that there's something living that they could talk to, have a relationship with, that is no longer able, they're no longer able to do that. That relationship is now different. Yeah. But it doesn't mean that Grandpa Okie will still not be a part of this tree's life. Yeah. And so the series, that's one thing that the book does, is it reinforces that you do not forget who you have lost, but they just become an important part of your life's journey. Yeah. And I think that's an incredible message to be putting out there, especially for the realm of children's books and entertainment. And when it comes to the progression of the books, like you had said, showing that death to something alive doesn't necessarily mean they're no longer in your mind or they no longer played a role in your life. But the main thing is the main character in the series, he ages as time goes on, and you get the sense that you're showing that death is something that is natural. It's not something that's scary or a villain of sorts in the book, as some other books may have portrayed it. And when you were in the process of writing it, what was the hardest part about conveying it in this way for, say, a child who was reading it? Well, a child doesn't really understand the effect of losing someone very close to you, the effect that it will have on you. Yeah. Especially if it's a parent or a sibling or even a close grandparent. But what I learned myself through my own experience is I never get over a loss, and children will be the same way. They will never get over it, but they learn to live with it. They take character traits of the person that they love, and they incorporate those character traits in their own lives. And by doing that, we actually carry that person's legacy. Yeah. And that's exactly in this relationship between this tree and Grandpa Okie, that's exactly what happened. He decided he was once the mentor. And we all have those people in our lives that are mentors. We need those people that help us find our way until we're able to do it on our own. Yeah. And that's what Grandpa Okie did for him. So now when the seedling, after the death of the grandfather, notices another young tree, another young seedling fighting for its life, he now realizes that he has an opportunity to now be that mentor to someone else.
Yes.
So when he does that, he carries forward the legacy that he was given, and it gives him a purpose-driven life, which is what I wanted to show as we see him age as a mature tree, an old tree, and finally as a wildlife tree. We see that he carried forward the grandfather's legacy.
Yeah. Fantastic. And when it came to figuring out the conceit of the series and the idea of the character being this tree, how did you eventually arrive at that point to the idea that would eventually become the book or books?
That's a great question. I grew up in the country, had 80 acres of woods surrounded by me. And I would see all these big, huge oak trees and so many little tiny seedlings. And I thought, they're not all going to make it. They're not going to make it.
Yeah.
And I just thought about that and related it to humans.
Yeah.
How do we make it? The ones that really thrive are the ones who had someone mentoring them, someone believing in them until we believe in ourselves.
Yeah.
And so I thought, that's why I'm going to use this tree and seedling relationship, because we're the same way. We need someone in our corner who believes in us, guides us, nurtures us until we believe in ourselves.
Beautiful.
And find our own way.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you actually brought up a very interesting point that looking at those trees, an immediate thought was that not all of them are going to survive, to grow to their full potential. But through a child's eyes, looking at a fellow human being, that never crosses their mind, because you see older people and it's like, oh, that person's been around for a long time. It's not as sporadic, and it doesn't come across as instantly as seeing, say, an older or dying tree. And so I think giving anthropomorphic, the human characteristics to a tree, I think was a brilliant idea for one, but also I think just goes to show just how in tune you are with the ideas that you're getting across in your book. So great all around. I think it's fantastic.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And you've written quite a bit between this and the other books that we had talked about previously. You've written a lot involving the strong emotions and loss especially. And do you see future work penned by you concerning kind of a similar subject matter?
I do. I think this subject is just something I'm passionate about because I see children and adults. As a hospice bereavement volunteer, I work with both children and adults.
Yes.
I see people not moving forward, just getting stuck in their bereavement. And yes, there's no time period for going through grief. Everyone grieves on their own schedule.
Yeah.
But the goal is to still move forward with that life. The grief will always be a part of you, a part of who you are. But your loved one, whoever you lost, would want you to move forward in a healthy way. And so that's my goal, is to help people move forward.
Yeah. Well, that's a very admirable goal. And I think all of the work that you've done, that we've talked about already, and the work you will do, is incredibly important to furthering the talks about grief and loss especially, and especially when it comes to young people or those who haven't quite grasped the concept.
Yes.
And it's just fantastic. And the more we talk about it, the more I've had the chance to hear you and your husband talking about it, it really just strikes me how important it is.
It is very important, because the statistics are that 1 out of 12 children will lose either a parent or a sibling before they reach the age of 18.
Yeah.
That's 1 out of 12. But what about the children who also additionally lose a close friend or grandparents or aunts and uncles? The numbers just go up.
Yeah.
So it's something that all children experience, and we just don't address it enough.
Yeah.
They may know the reality of death, but they don't know how to move forward with it in a healthy way.
Yeah, and I think death as a concept is inherently portrayed as scary or frightening, which makes sense in a vacuum because of the finality of it. But when you look at it through the perspective of the aftermath and what comes after the immediate grief. It's really striking just how, it shouldn't represent, fear or something frightening like that. More so as a new chapter of sorts, which in your book series, Rooted, it quite literally is as portrayed through the cycle of growth for trees.
Yes.
So I think just the act of translating it in this way as you have done is both very smart, but also such a great way of showing what death actually is in a broader sense for someone who may not understand it. And even for people who are older, who aren't children, tackling it in that way, kind of deconstructing it, I think would be a great way to deal with grief.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
No, my
yes,
pleasure.
From some of the reviews I've gotten, adults will say that the book resonates with them as well. Even though it's geared towards children,
Yeah.
they said, I really got a lot out of that book. And I have some counselors who have told me that they're just using the book to open up, to break the ice before they start a counseling session. So I'm really glad to hear that it has a wide audience with parents, grandparents, teachers, educators, and healthcare professionals.
Yeah. And I mean, just any chance to start a new dialogue about this subject is incredibly important. And yeah, you've done a great job at encapsulating why it's so important.
Thank you. One thing that I didn't state is is that there are discussion questions in the back of the book.
Oh, great.
So that each book, there's 5 in the series, but each book stands alone. But of course, I recommend that you read them all together.
Yeah.
But the questions just foster a great opportunity for dialogue. For instance, one question will say, Dendro lost an arm in a storm, or a branch in a storm, and Grandpa Oki died. What is a difficult change that you've gone through, or is there someone that you have lost? So just to ask the questions, you can read that to a child one time and get one answer. You could read it a year or two later and maybe get a totally different answer.
Yeah, and I think asking it like that in a way that isn't confrontational, it's inquisitive. I think that's definitely a good way to get in the case of a child, to help a child think it over rather than immediately being struck with the idea of death or loss. So.
And another question it asks is, Dendra was grateful for Grandpa Oki. So it also teaches other important traits such as gratitude and perseverance. And those are all character traits that help us persevere. Gratitude is something that really gets someone through tough times in life.
Absolutely. And I can sense a great deal of gratitude in all that you talk about and all that you talk about writing and what you write. And I think it's absolutely incredible what you've managed to do. With this and the last time we spoke, you touched on your life and what you've gone through. And the fact that we're sitting here now, you're smiling and we're talking about the work you've done, I think is just a testament to how strong you are as a person. So
I really appreciate that, because with all the losses that I've experienced with my father, my former spouse, many other relatives, but then recently my son.
Yes.
If I didn't find passion and purpose for what I have gone through, then it would just be meaningless.
Yeah.
But when you can find purpose by helping others or writing something that will at least get conversations started in homes, it doesn't soften the experience, but it helps to just know that there's meaning in what happened.
It recontextualizes the grief into something that fuels you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. And for anyone listening to this, in case they didn't listen to the last time we spoke, if they want to find Rooted or any of your other work, where could they find it?
Well, I have a website, www.tammycranston.com, and I'm also on Facebook, Tammy Cranston Author.
Amazing. But Tammy, this has been absolutely wonderful. Same with our last talk. It's been absolutely incredible getting to know you and your husband. It's been fantastic, and your work is so important to have, especially now with kind of the shift in culture and how certain topics aren't as well taught or well known. So I think having material like this that teaches people, especially young people, about the importance of working with grief and not letting it consume you, I think it's incredibly important and a very valuable resource to have. So thank you.
Thank you.
No, you're welcome.
Me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. And thank you for sitting with me. Thank you to all of those out there listening to the Pop-Up Podcast. And thank you so much again.